So, what's good about this card also is, other than these three fighters here, and she has had a couple of fights in UFC, but other than these three fighters, all these fighters are pretty well known. This fight, I don't know much about this guy. He's fought just in some random obscure promotion for his entire career. This guy was in UFC but got cut. I'm gonna go with Idris just because he's undefeated 10-0 and he looks like Rachmanov. And those belts are definitely ripped off from 1FC. He didn't fight in 1FC, if you're wondering. All his fights are in Nizer. But man, give 1FC their belts back. As you know, I'm not interested in women's fights, but Karine Silva, she is actually someone who's half decent to watch and actually finishes fights, so I'll give her a pass. She's definitely going to win this fight, in my opinion. Is she the favourite? Slight favourite, because you can never know with women's MMA. Could be that time of the month. You never know. But I'm going to go with her. But from the here on out, these are all well-known fighters, unless you're like a just super casual. So I'm going to assault on Ruzaboyev versus Brian Battle. I've seen Brian Battle in person. He's a badass. Ruzaboyev, I just think he's better than what people think. But I'm going to go with Battle. I just think... It's hard to say though. Ruzaboyev's got so much experience and he is a good fighter, but he does make mistakes. Man, it's a tough one. What's the odds saying? I'm going to go with the slight favourite, Brian Battle, by decision. I think it'll be a good fight, you know, 29-28 kind of fight. And Ruzaboyev can leave with his head held high. But I'm going to go with Battle. Next up, this is a sick fight. Edson Barboza versus Dricus. This is the kind of fight that an Unk Barboza can win. Dricus, he seems like he's a bit shotborn these days. For a guy without even 20 fights. I mean, that was pretty brutal, that last fight. That's what made me think. I mean, you can't really say someone's chin's gone when they're getting flying kneed by Joel Alvarez, who's about 6'1" at lightweight. I'm going to go with Barboza. I'm going to actually take Barboza by an absolute beatdown or a stoppage, possibly. Barboza, he hasn't fought in forever, it feels like, since like 2023 or something. Oh, true, yeah, the Lerone Murphy fight. Other than that, that was pretty forgettable, though, wasn't it? So in my mind, he hadn't fought since 2023. That was so forgettable. Oh man, well it has been well over a year. I think it'll be good for someone like Barboza. He's not going to get much better technique wise and skill wise. He's an old dog. He just needs some rest. Old dogs need rest, not new tricks. So I'm taking Barboza by a brutal beatdown, maybe stoppage. This fight is the easiest pick on the card. Chase Hooper is going to absolutely whoop Hernandez on the feet, whip him on the ground, and I think either stop him with strikes on the ground, because Hooper has shown that he's got some goddamn good ground and pound against Slaviclos. He showed us that, or a submission. But Chase Hooper, he is seriously, like, he was just like a joke, like a gimmick fighter back a while back, you know, Ben Askren's son and all that. But this kid's a serious contender. He really is, and he's going to be a serious contender. And I mean, the year of this kid's coming up. His time will be in about eight years or so. He's got to be like 23, 25 max. Yeah, 25 max. Yeah, in 5 years, who knows where the division will be? It'll be guys like Paddy Pimblett around there and Chase Hooper. I mean, it sounds crazy to say, but this guy could be a future title contender, title challenger, even champion. You just don't know where the division's going to be. And this guy seems to get so much better with every fight. I never thought I'd be saying this, but he's a serious guy. He's grown up in the UFC, and it's actually worked out for the better. A couple of the beatings early on, I think, really might come back to bite him in the ass. But I think he was young enough at the time where you can just recover from them. And I think taking those beatings later in your late 20s, early 30s might be a different story. But luckily, he took those beatings, you know. Yeah, he took those beatings when he was like pretty early on. Andrade versus Godinez. Andrade will just get out there and outpointed, outworked. Maybe she'll land a big bomb. That's all there is to it, like all her fights, but she'll probably lose. Gerald GM3 Meerschaert. I don't care what the odds are. I'm taking my boy GM3. I always go with my boy GM3. He will be in my parlay. He'll be an underdog. Oh, yes, he is. Truthfully, I think Olasejchuk probably will win this fight unless GM3 pulls out a lucky submission. But I'm going with GM3 because I always go with GM3. I always back my boys, and I'm backing him. GM3 by crazy mounted triangle. King Green versus Diego Ferreira. This is a good fight, but I think King Green, this is 51st fight. Look, yeah, 18, 1, 7, 18, 32. He's had 50 goddamn fights, and he's the kind of guy he'll have had multiple fights that weren't documented. So it's probably like his 70th fight or something, 65th, 70th odd fight. He needs to just pack it in now. his brain is just going to be turned to mush. And I don't want to see that because Bobby Green's a fun, cool guy, but he needs to just pack it in. I mean, didn't Diego Vieira, did he spark someone or get sparked in his last fight? Someone got sparked in his last fight, didn't they? Oh no, decision, Trent Dawson. Alright. It'd be cool to see King Green win. I hope King Green wins. I want him to win. But I think Diego Vieira wins this. I just think he does. I think Bobby Green has got to that point now where he's so damaged. And that last fight against Hoofy, how long ago was that? March. So it's 5 months ago. 5 months ago. Alright, fair enough. 5 months ago, but still. Man, just thinking of that knockout, just, whoa, no, not good. Not good at all. I'm going to take Diego Vieira by submission in round 2 or 3. Tim Elliott versus Kai Asakura. This is actually a tough one to pick because I think Kai Asakura is a good fighter, but Tim Elliott's the kind of fighter that will make a good fighter look bad and then lose. He's nothing fancy, Tim Elliott. He's like he's not like a lightweight Darren Elkins. I shouldn't say that. He's a lot better fighter than Darren Elkins. No disrespect to the damage, full respect to the damage. But I mean, Tim Elliott, I can't get up my head that fight he gave Mighty Mouse. He gave Mighty Mouse a problem. And I know he's tall, but what's the odds here? Whoa, I'm definitely sticking money on Tim Elliott if he's those kind of odds. Whoa, I'm hitting the bookies tomorrow before these odds change. God damn. Man, do you know what? I think Tim Elliott wins. I think these Japanese fighters, they come over to the UFC and they just don't seem to... And you can't blame it on the ring or the octagon. It's just... I don't know what it is. They just seem to freeze in front of the American crowd. I don't know what it is. People have said for years, for some reason, they fight good in Japan, but not over here. And they're sending about... I remember people saying back in the Pride FC, back in the day, they were like, going from America to Japan doesn't affect you. But it sounds crazy, but going from Japan to America somehow affects you. It doesn't make any sense, but it kind of seems to play out that way, because a lot of people go over to Japan and have success, but the Japanese come to America. It doesn't seem to work out good for them. Do you know what I mean? Like Takanori Gomi, the Fireball Kid, and people like that. It never seems to pan out for them. These amazing fighters, and they come over here. And people can talk about your side of drug tests and all they want. It's not just that. You can either fight or you can't. You know, obviously all that stuff helps when it's close fights, but you can either fight or you can't. And with drugs or no drugs, you can either scrap or you can't. Man, I'm taking Tim Elliott, and I'm going to take him by submission. I think that was a crazy odds. I'm actually quite confident that Tim Elliott will win this fight. It'd be cool to see Kai Asakura win because he seems like a cool guy. Even though I like Tim Elliott, like he's got 13 losses, it wouldn't hurt him to get another win. Yeah, man, I'm taking Tim Elliott by submission, but hopefully I'm wrong because it would be fun to see Kai Asakura get back to the title level and have some fun fights. I mean, he's a bit of a banger, isn't he? What's his knockout record? I mean, 13 knockout wins, but he got 3 knockout losses. That's bad at flyweight, isn't it? Anyway, onto the main card. Cannonier versus Michael Page. I see this as a simple Cannonier, too big, too strong. I know MMA is not that simple. I don't think Michael Page will have the power. I think we've seen now in the UFC, his power in Bellator against those tomato cans was what it was. He's not as good as what he made himself look in Bellator. He's a good fighter. He's not a bad fighter. But he's not as good as, you know, as some people thought. He's not as good as he made himself look against lower level fighters. I think Jared Cannonier will be able to absorb the punches. I don't think the punch power of Page will bother him. I think he'll get this down to the mat. I think he'll mix it up. I think he'll make it a dirty fight. And I'll take Cannonier by strong decision, 29-28, possibly 30-27. But you know the judges are, you can get a 30-27 and they always give someone else a round anyway, don't they? I think they do that so they can hedge their bets for the last round and work it out from there, because it's difficult. If you give someone the first 2 rounds, the best you can do then is give someone a draw. So I think the judges a lot of the time like to give a round each in the first 2 if possible, so they can kind of decide at the end and be like who really deserved to win the fight overall. Just my opinion. That's what I think a lot of them do, even if it's subconsciously. So yeah, that's for that. Geoff Neal versus Prates. This is a very, very interesting one. I'm not. This is a difficult one. What's Geoff Neal coming off? He's 8-4 now in UFC. That doesn't count. I mean, he showed out against Rachmanov until he got his ass choked out, didn't he? Wow, he's a massive favourite. Massive favourite. Do you know what? Screw it. I'm going with Geoff Neal. I think Geoff Neal does it. I'm not super confident. But yeah, give me Geoff Neal. I think man, this is a mad fight because they can both bang. Prates' power is a real thing. It is real. He had Ian Gary crawling around like an absolute beta cuck at the end of his last fight. I mean, the way that fight ended was just straight embarrassing. Like the way he was crawling around like a blind person looking for their, or like an almost legally blind person, like who just been punched and they're on the floor looking around for their glasses in the dark. He was like, it was a bad look. There's only 3 rounds though as well, which is interesting because Prates, he didn't look too bad after 5. This is a real toss-em-up for me, and I mean the odds are crazy. So I think Geoff is a live dog in this. I think Prates will win by decision, to be honest, in my heart of hearts. But give me Geoff Neal. Give me Geoff Neal by decision. Lerone Murphy versus Aaron Pico. Now this is very interesting. Very interesting. Lerone Murphy has been rocked and hurt. You know what? I'm crazy. It's probably going to just be a boring decision for Lerone, but give me Aaron Pico by knockout. Screw it. Aaron Pico to come in, knock this guy out and shake it up. And that's what the UFC want. They do not want to have to give this guy a title shot. They do not want to promote this guy. They do not like his fighting style. Even though if you truly appreciate MMA and like mixed martial arts, or just to hit and not get hit and not take damage and not have your brains turned to mush, like a Tony Ferguson or a Cowboy Cerrone, and they're 2 of my favourite fighters of all time, so there's no disrespect there at all. Lerone Murphy's the way you want to go, and I kind of do like watching this fight sometimes. It's just, it can get a bit boring, you know what I mean? Like you watch UFC for the adrenaline. So give me Aaron Pico by knockout. Now this fight, I was going to say I've been going back and forth in this fight, but I really haven't. I think Du Plessis wins by either a decision. My true bet is I think Du Plessis wins this either round 4 or 5 rear naked choke, or by decision. And I mean, at the end of it, Khamzat is just like, if he had hair, it'd be sticking out everywhere. His beard's going to be all messed up. He's going to be bloodied and just absolutely ragged in every which way possible. Ragged mentally, physically, emotionally. Do you know what I mean? I think, yeah, most people think the same. The first round or 2 might be difficult for Du Plessis. And I think Khamzat is going to go for that Robert Whittaker. Just rush him. Just bum rush him out the gate and just try and rip that choke up. Because when Khamzat is fresh, he is a goddamn problem. He is a goddamn problem. But like McGregor was, that problem becomes less and less of a problem as the fight goes on, doesn't it? So I think we all think, oh, this fight's going to go, and it's probably going to go something completely different. Like one of them gets knocked out in the first 2 minutes cold with 1 punch before anything really substantial even lands. It's going to be something like that. Something crazy is going to happen, I think. I mean, if this fight ends and we haven't been thoroughly entertained and we don't want to see it again, or it hasn't been a super conclusive fight or exciting fight, then I don't know what to tell you. It's just, we're going to be living in a parallel universe. But I just cannot wait for this fight, because truthfully, no one fucking knows what's going to happen. None of us do. We think we do, but we always think we do, and it never is. Even if we got the call right, we rarely get to plan out how the fight's going to go, and it turns out that way. Unless it's a kind of, you know, it's kind of an obvious thing, which this definitely is not. This is a matchup of matchups. I mean, how many times has Du Plessis defended now? 2 or 3 times? 2 times. God, I felt like he defended more than that. I mean, look at that. Champion. And he hadn't fought, apart from Whittaker, he hadn't fought really. All due respect to Blonde Brunson, but Brunson wasn't the old Brunson of old at that moment, was he? And Darren Till was like, we all know about Darren Till. Man, this is interesting. 2 consecutive title defenses. So there'll be 3. Man. Right, that's it for these picks. If you enjoyed the video or you've got a comment, just leave it in the comment section. Give me a like, give me a subscribe, give me a share, and yeah, man, I cannot wait for this fight. I cannot wait. Fucking excited, man. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.